Well, welcome to our lesson on multiplying polynomials. In this lesson, we will be multiplying polynomials by monomials and binomials, and also multiplying binomials using FOIL. So first of all, let's review some of our properties of exponents, as we will be using these quite extensively in this lesson. And first of all, if we have a number raised to a power, and it's multiplied by another number raised to a different power, but the numbers are the same, they have the same base, then we add the exponents. For example, x squared times x to the third would be x to the 2 plus 3, or x to the fifth. If we have a number raised to a power and the whole thing is raised to another power, we multiply the exponents. And our example on the right is x squared to the third power is x to the sixth power. Now we can kind of clarify if this is confusing to you. This is really like x squared times x squared times x squared, right? 3 times. This thing is times itself 3 times. And then you can see a little more obviously that it's 6 x's that are involved there. So that's how that works with our exponent rules. Then to multiply a monomial by a polynomial, all we're going to do is we're going to use our distributive property. So let's go ahead and put some of this into practice and look at some examples here. Number 1 says to find each product. So what we're going to do is use our distributive property, and we have to multiply the thing on the outside by both things on the inside. So we're going to have 7x squared multiplied by 2x, and then we'll subtract 7x squared multiplied by 3y squared. So that's our distributive property. 7 times 2 is 14, and x squared times x is x cubed. Then we have 7 times 3, and we have a subtraction sign, so it's a 21, and we have an x squared and a y squared. And that's how you leave it. There's nothing that combines, there's no like terms, so that's just what we get. Over on the right-hand side, we're going to distribute the negative 6ab squared through the parentheses. So we get a negative 6ab squared, and we're going to multiply it first times 5a squared, and then we're going to add to that negative 6ab squared multiplied by 3b, and then we're going to add to that negative 6ab squared multiplied by negative 2b squared c squared, right? So let's take the first term. When we multiply negative 6 times 5, we get negative 30. And then a squared times a is a cubed, and then we still have a b squared. So we did negative 6 times 5, a times a squared, and then we have a b squared. Then we have a negative 6 times a positive 3, which is a negative 18. And then we have an a and a b cubed. Single a here, b squared and a b. Remember, anytime you have a variable with no exponent, it's assumed to be a 1. And then our last term is negative 6 times negative 2, which is positive 12. And it looks like we have a single a, 4 b's, and 2 c's. And that's our answer. Now, when we multiply binomials together, a binomial times a binomial, that's just a term that has 2 terms by another one with 2 terms, we use what we call FOIL. And FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, last. And so each of these describes which terms you're multiplying together. So let's look at an example down here. If I'm multiplying x plus 3 times x plus 5, I first do the first terms together, x times x, and that gives me x squared. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the outside terms, x times 5, which is plus 5x. So that's my outer, plus 5x. And then I'm going to multiply the inside terms. And the inside terms are positive 3 and positive x. I should do these color coordinated. I guess I could do that. So that's plus 3x for the inner term. And then the last term are the 3 and the 5. See if I can get that. That one's in purple. I don't have a purple color, so I'll just use black for that one. And that one gives me a plus 15. Now the thing you need to be aware of is your outer and inner terms are oftentimes like terms, and you need to simplify those. So we would get x squared plus 8x plus 15. So let's do some practice. Find the product. Our first terms are a times a, which gives us a squared. Our outer are the ones on the outside, a times 7 plus 7a. We always put the number before the letter. And then plus 4a for our inner. And then the last terms are 4 times 7, which is plus 28. We do have like terms for our outer inner, so our final answer is a squared plus 11a plus 28. And then letter B, finding that product. First terms are b squared. B times b is b squared. Outside is minus 3b. Inside is minus 6b. And last is plus 9, a negative 3 times a negative 3. And then our outer inner always combined, so we have minus 9b and then plus 9. Here are two for you to try. Go ahead and work on these and bring your answers to class, and we'll talk about those when you get to class. So a binomial times a trinomial. How do we do this? Well, we can't use FOIL anymore because that was only a binomial with a binomial. So that makes us kind of sad because that's kind of a neat trick. So what can we do? Well, we can just use the distributive property, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So if we're going to use the distributive property, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply. First of all, let's take everything times 2x. Okay, let's distribute the 2x through the parentheses and write the answer. So 2x times 2x squared is 4x cubed. 2x times negative 5x is negative 10x squared. 2x times plus 8 is plus 16x. Then what we're going to do is we're going to distribute the positive 7 through the parentheses, and I will write the result of that below the first set of products. So 7 times 2x squared is 14x squared, and I'm going to line those up with their like terms. And then 7 times minus 5x is minus 35x, and 7 times 8 is plus 56. So now what we can do is we can add these terms together. If they don't have any like terms to add, then they just are there on their own. So we have 4x cubed and then plus 4x squared. And let's see, that's a minus, how much is that? 35 minus 16 is 19, is that right? 19x plus 56. And there's your answer. For our last slide, we have find the area of the rectangular piece of matting that has a width of this, 3x squared minus 4x plus 5. That's how wide it is, and this is its length. Well, we know the area of a rectangle equals length times width, right? So we're going to go ahead and multiply those. We're going to take 3x squared minus 4x plus 5. And we are going to multiply that trinomial by 2x plus 6 binomial. So here we go. We're going to take 2x, distribute that through your parentheses, and write your result. So I'm going to start over here on this side. 3x squared times 2x is 6x cubed. 2x times negative 4x is minus 8x squared. And then we have plus 10x. And let's change colors. Then we're going to distribute our positive 6 through the parentheses as well. And positive 6 times 3x squared is plus 18x squared. 6 times negative 4x is minus 24x. And 6 times 5 is 30. Now we need to go ahead and add our terms together, giving us a final answer of 6x cubed plus 10x squared minus 14x and plus 30. So that is how you multiply binomials, trinomials, polynomials. We'll see you in class where you can put this into practice.